Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Build the Boss podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself, achieve success in life, and reach your max potential. Hope you guys have had a wonderful week so far and are doing well. So, how's life? Firstly, just wanted to say a big thank you for all the love, all the support via Insta, at Build the Boss Podcast. If you aren't following, lots of good stuff there. But yeah. Anyways, last week, to be honest, we had quite an interesting episode. I will be truthful in saying that, mainly because of the fact that we talked about quite a heavy topic, in my opinion. And we really did dive deep into overthinking. And I am sorry that I did not post the splurge for the overcoming the overthinking overcomer. I take full responsibility for that, and I am very sorry. But with that being said, I promised to post it this week. But yeah, okay. So this week that passed was my 16th B-Day. Woo! Sweet 16, honey. And guess what? We also had Valentine's Day. Yippee! I am single AF. Bless the Lords. I mean, I'm like the one person that is an absolute lovebird. Loves romance, is obsessed with romantic novels. But for some reason, with all my life, I've never attracted someone. Which, like, with being 16 and dealing with crushes and stuff like that in school, like, I feel like not dwelling on the fact that when I was younger, it was insecurities, honey. When I was younger, I'd get bullied a lot about being okay. I'm going deep. Yeah, but you guys are my homies. I'd be bullied a lot, and I had lots of insecurities as a kid. So maybe that's why, I don't know. And me dwelling on that those insecurities, but at the same time being as authentic as I possibly could be, really gross boys out. I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, with that being said, last week's topic was quite heavy, overthinking. And when I was like on the day of my birthday, I was really thinking, okay, what goals and intentions can I have moving forward into the 16th year of life that I will be experiencing. I am very sorry that I rant about my personal life on this podcast, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And one of the things that really stood out was overcoming overthinking, obviously, and then also how I can feel happier. And with that being said, today's episode is going to be dedicated 2 habits of happy people. All right? And before I start, I do want to recognize the fact that everyone's definition of happiness is different. So you really got to define what happiness is to you before we dive deep. Okay? So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of time. Meanwhile, I'm going to be honest. For most people, it's happiness equals success. Okay? And it can be success in anything. It can be school, it can be relationships, it can be and relationships not just being like lovey-dovey. It can also mean like familial relationships, friends, and like having good friendships and strong friendships that are long lasting. It can be, I don't know, getting a job. It can mean so many different things. For some, but ultimately, all of those things that happiness requires comes with a sense of fulfillment. So I've been doing some observation in the past 16 of years of my life, and I've come up with a few of these habits of successful people and happy people. So I'm gonna share them with y'all. And to truly build the boss within, you can't go into it with an empty tank. You need to fill your cup first if you expect to be able to fill others' cups to the best of your ability. And I'm gonna be flat out honest with y'all. If you don't fill your cup first, chances are you won't be able to do it to your best ability, and ultimately you'll end up losing everything that makes you losing that drive, that fire, that passion that you once had for helping people. And when you want to build the boss within, you really gotta fill your cup first and fulfill yourself first. So the first habit of very happy people and successful people in whatever they're doing is that they engage in positive self-talk. Okay? And I know it's easier said than done. I know. Honey is tough. But you know, those pink sticky notes really do come in handy because your monkey mind is so good at finding every single thing that's wrong and just, you know, there's a saying, where focus goes, energy flows. And ultimately, the more your monkey brain brings up the negativity, obviously you're going to be drawn to it and is going to escalate and things are going to go cuckoo. So really, it's about, you know, doing the rough stuff but praising yourself for it. And it's not selfish. It's not stupid. Like, there have been times, I am going to be honest with y'all, where it's about praising yourself during the times when you do something that you don't want to be doing. It's about putting those sticky notes around your room or on your mirror. Well, sticky notes around your room is kind of pointless, but it's about putting those sticky notes on your mirror and reminding yourself to praise yourself. And yes, you might have to remind yourself at first, just because, like, it'll feel weird. But once you begin to praise yourself, you'll notice that you'll feel so much better and so much more motivated to keep doing what you're doing and really grow yourself. And really just focus on doing the things that are hard, even though don't want to do that specific thing, but acknowledging what you're doing and empowering yourself. Because if you are not your best friend, no matter how much your best friend tells you that you're doing a good job, that's not going to give you the same feeling of fulfillment. With that being said, the second habit of very successful and happy people is that they accept their mistakes and embrace them. They don't use them to enrage themselves. They don't use them to erase that little bit of positivity they have. I'm so good with the letters. Wow. But really, it's about embracing the imperfections, embracing the authenticity, and not letting your monkey mind take control. It's about acknowledging that in order to succeed, you need to fail. There is no such thing as perfection. Perfectionism is poisonous, it is deadly, it is toxic, and really, you got to recognize that, yes, with being quote unquote perfectionism, praise will come. Oh my God. But you gotta just accept your mistakes rather than try to deny them. Embrace the process and embrace your imperfections. And really praise yourself sometimes for recognizing that you made a mistake. Sometimes we become so good at denying when we falter, and we just try to avoid it and deny it as much as we possibly can. But ultimately, this doesn't do us much help. This will, in fact, just make things easy for us now and make them harder in the future. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. If we want to truly build the boss within, we got to do the hard stuff now, even if we don't want to do it. And ultimately, with successful people and happy people, they use their mistakes and their falters to teach themselves lessons that are going to help them in the future. And with that being said, this leads me to my next point, which is that the next habit of very happy and successful people is that they're constantly trying to learn more. This one might sound funny, but do you remember the last time you picked up a book? I'm going to give you a few seconds to process that question. If you haven't picked up a book within the last week, or you haven't listened to an audiobook within the past week, chances are you're not really a big reader, or you're just overwhelmed with work and school and stuff like that. With that being said, I'm on a roll. I keep saying that. One thing with very successful and happy people is that they're always trying to learn. They are constantly reading about different things. They're constantly on the search to build the brain. And ultimately, knowing more knowledge leads to being able to navigate through life's ups and downs so much more easily and overcome obstacles that you never thought you were capable of overcoming. And really, with learning more and growing the brain, you become so good at being able to, firstly, here's the thing. With learning more, it doesn't have to always be on something new. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I read a book about Charlie Chaplin the other day, and I know so much more about that dude than I never thought was imaginable. But really, the more you try to learn and seek, learning and growing, and not using the fact that you are learning to make it seem like you are somewhat insufficient, but rather embracing the fact that you are becoming better and better with every single day that passes is really something to praise yourself for. Okay? So, um, okay. The next habit is that I believe that everyone, if you want to truly be happy, you should come up with brainstorm a good list of what makes you happy in life and what gives you drive and passion. What is your passion? For some of us, it can be multiple things. For some of us, it might be one thing. It might be reading, it might be drawing, it might be dancing in your room to Olivia Rodrigo. It really depends. Or it could just be singing at the top of your lungs random Frozen songs. That is certainly not a good sign for me and not a part of my list because that shows that I am very anxious. Anyways, but it's really about doing trying to fit in as much of the things that make you happiest into your day as possible, and really make prioritizing the time for it. Because from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening. See you guys next week. Bye.